Hi, it's Christina from Healthy Home Cooking. In today's video, I wanted to share with you another great summer salad recipe that I enjoy making when I'm grilling foods for dinner or if I'm going to a picnic. This is a great take-along salad for something like that. The salad is based on Mexican street corn, and it is a version of that. Now, Mexican street corn hails from Mexico, and it's a little food cart delicacy that locals enjoy. And what it is basically a corn on the cob, and it is slathered with mayonnaise and cheese and chili pepper and lime. And it is, it looks great. I've never had it. I actually do really want to try it like this someday. I've only had it where the kernels are taken off the corn, and that's what this salad is going to be all about. So it's real easy to make at home. But the reason I like this a little bit better is that the original recipe looks really disastrous to eat. It looks like I'm going to be wearing it all over my shirt. So I'm not really sure that that works when you've got like company or when you're out and about somewhere. May not be ideal for that. So that's where this recipe is a bit of a take on that, and might be a little easier to eat. So Mexican street corn is typically prepared where the corn is either boiled or steamed, but I find that roasting the corn gives it just that little element of flavor that is just so ideal for the summer. That little extra char on the corn just adds a level of flavor that you're not going to get really if you're just steaming it or boiling it. So not a takeaway from the original recipe, but I think this works really, really nicely. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this with a corn. You can either take whole corn on the cob and put it on your grill and grill it, okay, and get a little char mark, little grill marks on the corn itself, and then let those cool and scrape them off and put the corn kernels in a bowl and then make your salad that way. That would probably be the ideal way of doing it. The most delicious, the most flavorful, and there again you have a little bit of control over how much you roast it. Another option is to take just corn kernels that you buy, maybe frozen, and defrost them and dry them off a little bit and then put them in a skillet with some oil and get a little bit of color on the corn that way. Or lastly, you can be super lazy like me and go to Trader Joe's, buy a bag of roasted corn that's already roasted for you. And when I'm in a pinch time-wise, this is what I fall back on. So the original Mexican street corn recipe includes or calls for cotija cheese, which is easy to find here in Southern California. If you're living somewhere where you can't get your hands on cotija cheese, you can make a substitution, and probably the closest cheese to cotija cheese would be feta. It has a little bit of the same texture and creaminess to it that cotija cheese has, and I've made this salad with feta cheese before and it works just fine. It's not authentic, but it works in a pinch, or like I said, if you're somewhere where you can't get cotija. Then for a more aged cheese flavor, if that's what you're after, you can certainly use Parmesan or Romano cheeses. Those work really well too, and I've used Romano before and it's excellent. So it's just a little bit different cheese flavor, and again, it's really the corn that is the predominant flavor in this salad, so the cheese is a little bit secondary to the corn. So you can use really any of those cheeses, okay? And I'll show you the list of ingredients in a moment. So without further ado, let's get started making Mexican street corn salad. Start with some corn, and again, I'm making it easy for myself today because I'm pressed for time, so I'm going to just use the Trader Joe's roasted corn. And it is still a little bit frozen, so I am going to just microwave that and kind of get it out of its frozen state. And I'm going to be using about 1.5 bags. You can use 2 if you want to just make a little extra, but I'm going to need about 1.5 bags. And then I'm also going to use some shallots or green onions that I've chopped. These are 3 green onions. I'm going to need about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. I'm going to use a good handful of cilantro, which I've already chopped. And then I'm going to cut up little bit of a jalapeno. I may not use this entire one, and I'm certainly not going to put any seeds in it because I don't like it too spicy, but I am going to be adding in probably 1/2 to 3/4 of a jalapeno chopped very finely. And then I'm going to juice a couple of limes. Now these are pretty squishy, so they feel pretty juicy. If you have a couple at home that just haven't really quite ripened yet, what you can certainly do is just take it and roll it on a surface and try to get a little bit more juice out of it that way. And so that's kind of a way around limes that haven't really super ripened yet. I'm also going to need some salt and pepper. And then for just a little added extra flavor, I'm going to use red chili peppers and a little bit of chili powder. Now chili powder isn't spicy in and of itself, but it does add a little bit of a smoky kind of chili flavor to the salad, which I really like. And then lastly, we're going to grate some cheese. And you need about 2-3 ounces. So we're going to just prep all this and start assembling it, and it's really that simple. Okay, so I'm going to just show you how to prepare the jalapeno. It's important that you don't touch the inside membranes of the jalapeno or the seeds, and definitely do not touch the seeds and then rub your eyes. I have done that, and that is painful, so do not do that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just cut the tip off, or the top off, and then we're gonna just go ahead and start slicing down the sides, okay? And we're gonna just keep rotating and just cutting off all the outside things. And here I'm trying to be careful. Uh-oh, touched a seed. I just want to be careful not to touch any seeds and not cut myself at the same time. So we're gonna just sort of slice off the outside edge, and touching the seeds it's hard not to. And what we're gonna do is just sort of scrape those out and make sure that I don't want any of those. If you do, more power to you. But I'm gonna take these out because I want no part of those. All right, so we're gonna just discard all of that and the seeds. And now we're gonna just chop what remains. And I'm gonna just chop it really fine. Okay, and then I'm lazy. I just like to put it all together and chop it all together. Okay, and I'm gonna just do this as finely as I possibly can, without cutting a finger. And again, you don't have to use all of this. And in fact, I might not. But we're gonna add maybe half to start and then see how that looks. Also, it just adds a nice color to your salad, you know, a little flecks of green in with your corn. Well, there's actually quite a bit of green going on in the salad with your cilantro and your green onions. So now it's just a matter of assembling everything. So we're gonna just slide everything right into our corn. We're gonna put our green onion in. I think that might be a little bit more than I need. The cilantro, same thing. I love cilantro. I love that flavor, and so there can really never be too much cilantro in something. As you can see, this is a pretty hefty amount. If you don't care for that much cilantro, you can certainly cut back. And again, on the jalapenos, I think I'm gonna just start with about half of this jalapeno, since it was a pretty generous sized pepper. And add my lime juice. Our mayonnaise, garlic, about a teaspoon and a half or so to taste of salt. And then I'm going to use about a teaspoon of chili powder and just the very slightest little sprinkling of red pepper flakes. Okay. And our last thing is the cheese. And then now we have our Parmesan cheese that I've grated, and I'm going to just add that in and give that a stir. And that is Mexican street corn. Again, this tastes great at a picnic with maybe some cold poached chicken, or maybe some grilled chicken that's that you grilled last night that's left over. And I mean, if you share this with your friends, I guarantee you there'll be none left to bring home because it is so incredibly tasty. Yeah, I love this salad. So I hope I've inspired you to try making Mexican street corn salad at home yourself. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the little red bell below if you want to be notified, and of course share it with a friend. Thanks for watching.